the SHA like tuseme shetani amekataa kutuachilia kabisa.
Kuna friend yangu hapa Johnson Wamboi amesema ati tunaita Al-Shabaab because it's a terrorist outfit that is terrorizing Kenyans and stealing from Kenyans.
But when you hear that we have ghost facilities in this country that are receiving funds, yet they have offered nothing, and yet hospitals that are taking care of our population wanakuwa starved of their claims, what does that tell us as a nation?
The reason I am happy sitting in this studio is because we have been vindicated. When this SHIF began, some of us were told that nyinyi ni kuchukia munachukia serikali ya William Ruto. SHA is perfect, SHA is better than NHIF. Amuko mnasema hivyo time ya Uhuru. We were told all sorts of things. We were told this thing is perfect, this thing is good. Do you know wamefika mahali they had to remove from their website the whole list
of the facilities?
Yes, they are ashamed. Because unakumbuka the famous Nyandiwa hospital. Sai what people are working day and night kufia kama gugu ionekane like there's a functional hospital. We saw what this other thing called, was it Lidnan or something? Some interesting Ladnan hospital. Some interesting name we have never had, we have never seen. 60 million bob. No, ukiangalia ile pesa inapatiwa Pumwani hapa, surely Pumwani is
even Kenyatta, the biggest
Kenyatta haipatiwi
hospital
pesa in
the region.
But
ina receive less
so
than.
They used to say ati ni sisi tu. Sasa hiyo Ladnan hospital ni ya Rigathi Gachagua ama ni ya nani? So we are happy today as a nation because the truth has come out. Sasa the only problem I have, na hiyo ndio kitu mimi nataka watuelezee. After people have seen this rubbish that is happening, the rip-off that is happening in this country, imagine kuna mtu anasema tutam. That is what annoys me. Kuna mtu ataamuka asubuhi aende avotie hii serikali. Na kuna mtu anazurura hii Kenya ni kama mtu hana common sense akiambia Kenyans tutam. Anazunguka hii Kenya akisema you are looking at such headlines that we are, yani tunaripiwa tukiwa na nguo. Alafu mtu anakuja anakuambia that I am going to vote tutam. Ana campaign huku akipea watu maharagwe. If you are there at home na akili yako inakwambia unaweza votia hii serikali sasa ukiona what's going on, something is wrong with you.
It is sad that we can be going through this Igunza, because you know we left NHIF thinking that we're going to SHA and SHA is going to be better than NHIF. Actually we were promised that NHIF, there was a rip-off. There were lots of false claims, there were lots of things that were happening, and so we were told that with SHA and the systems that have been put in place, remember there is a system we put in place of 104 billion shillings. A system that was supposed to deter such a things from happening. But when you hear and read what is happening right now from the newspapers, if the ministry is forced to pull down the list of hospitals that has been have been paid, then it means something is fishy, and something is going on. And Gunza, NHIF we were paying very little from your salary, but with SHA you are paying 1.7% of your salary. That's a huge amount. If managed well, those monies should be able to cater for our health needs for all of us,
the entire nation.
There should be a universal health care, free. But because of the mismanagement, because of what we are seeing, because of a hospital in Kisii receiving millions of shillings, it seems ni mimi tu labda mimi nafanya mambo ndio tujue kujipanga. Labda tungekuwa nimefungua hospital kwa simu venye mnasema tufungue account kwa simu, we'll be millionaires right now, because it seems there are some people that are minting monies from this government. And for those monies to be minted, and you hear a patient going to hospital and he is being told your SHA has not been accepted. You are forced to pay from your own pocket. It is sad actually, because these things, we talk about them hapa unaweza fikiria they are just statistics, but real people are being affected. There are some real people who are dying because of their lacking health care.
Aden Duale anasema 5.1 billion yenye imekosabida to SHA as a claims is under re-evaluation. Surveillance as the government cracks down on fraudulent billing by health facilities. So far, according to him, 60 billion has been paid out. All right. Yet kulikuanga na claims totaling 91.7 billion. Yet a huge amount has gone to non-existing health facilities.
If common sense was being applied in this country, one of the first hospitals that should have gotten money as a matter of merit is Kenyatta National Hospital. Do you surely need to investigate whether Kenyatta National Hospital is a hospital that exists? Do you need to... I was born at Pumwani Maternity Hospital very many years ago, before you. Do you need to investigate whether Pumwani exists? And do you need to give money to Pumwani Hospital? So from where I sit, I think this is a plan. It is a scheme they had hatched from the word go. The idea was to steal from Kenyans, but they had not thought about it properly. So they have stolen from Kenyans, and then they've discovered, wow, we've stolen stupidly and gluttonously. What do we do? So they have been sending us Kaluma, and this time round I'm going to talk to Kaluma, because every time we spoke about SHA, Kaluma was the first one to tell us that ni Wakikuyu wanapiga hii serikali. So now I want to address the person of Kaluma, nimwambie, juwewe kazi yako inakuanga kutribalize kila kitu. Nikwambie ni ukweli, actually ni Wakikuyu wanapiga Kenya. Kuna Mkikuyu mmoja anaitwa Babu Owino, ni wa hapa Limuru. Kuna Mkikuyu mwingine anaitwa Sifuna ni Mkikuyu wa Nyandarua. Kuna mwingine hapo anaitwa Gloria Orwoba. Huyo naye kwao ni huko kunaitwa Kabete. Kuna Mkikuyu mwingine, huyo Mkikuyu pia amesumbua hii serikali sana sana, anaitwa Anthony Kibagendi. Kuna Mkikuyu mwingine anaitwa Matiangi. Kuna Mkikuyu mwingine anaitwa Kalonzo Musyoka. Kuna Mkikuyu wote nimekutajia ni Wathika, Limuru. Wakikuyu ndio wanasumbua hii serikali. So if they had to come and tribalize this thing, because every time we talk about SHA, that's what was happening. Tulikuwa tunatumiwa kina Silvano Sosoro atuambie, ni Wakikuyu. Now we are telling you, you've been caught with sugar on your lips. Imejaa huku kote.
Hand in the cookie jar.
Yes, nyinyi ndio mumekuwa mukipeleka hii country where we don't want it to go. And now I had the president talking of shaming corruption and arresting these people who have been corrupt. Now the question is this: what are they still doing? Ile wizi kubwa sasa ina happen ndani ya SHA. And then we used to be told, kuna watu wezi kula pesa za wenyewe juu ya religion fulani wako nayo. Look at where the bulk of this money is being taken to. And look at the hospitals.
Ni Mandera ama ni wapi ndio receive the biggest chunk.
Exactly. So Mandera with its population, mkikuja kwa population in terms of how much taxes are we collecting from Mandera, munambua we are few. How many votes in Mandera? There are many. How many people in Mandera are sick? Very many. But when it comes to how much taxation is coming from Mandera, hakuna population ya kulipa taxation. I mean, let us use common sense and let us be a nation that is meaning well for its people. Yeah. I wish mungekuwa mnasema hii pesa imepotelea Kenyatta National Hospital.
Former Ladnan Hospital CEO. He's the current chair wa SHA. And then that hospital will receive 220 million shillings plus. Sawa, from SHA.
Uliona vile kanatushana?
Usibody shame.
That is just one hospital. There are Ladman, there are many. There is one in Nairobi, there is one in Mandera, there is one in Wajir. All those hospitals were receiving millions of shillings. And you ask yourself, in nini wanafanyanga to receive more than what Kenyatta has received?
Yeah.
What is it that they do to receive more than what Pumwani has been receiving? I would want us to just divorce ourselves from politics for a minute.
Yes.
And just think about the effect these things having on common Kenyans.
Common and the health situation in our country.
Because it is very painful, Igunza, that my money is being deducted monthly, and then you don't know what is happening. And when my shosho goes to hospital, in Luya we call it kuhu. When my kuhu goes to hospital, she doesn't get the services that she requires. It is very painful because these things affect people. These things make people die. People are missing dialysis. People are missing cancer treatment. People are missing very important treatments that they need to have.
Yeah.
They are paying SHA, but they're not getting that treatment. Why? Because of these fraudulent issues. And my beef with the government would be, then you promised us that these things are going to be non-existent. From NHIF to SHA, they are still happening. And when you hear CS Duale speak the way he's speaking, he's brushing everything off. He's telling, I've seen his tweet this morning calling out Standard for writing what they have written. But the Standard has got the information from the portal of SHA. Ile portal ya SHA walieka wakasema tumelipa Igunza 5 million. Hapo ndo akaenda akachukua akachunguza, does Igunza own a hospital? They find out Kisii hakuna hospitali kama hii. Wanaenda Bungoma wana find out there is nothing like this. The government should not brush off these things. They should not, hawafai kututapikia on our shoes when they are eating. Just address the issues that are big, because these things are affecting common mwananchi. Unajua the politicians wanaweza pigana hapa juu wakisema oh you are playing politics with this thing,
but on
ground things are different, people are suffering.
Fanya mambo, does it make sense to you that a hospital like Ladnan receive 220 million shillings plus? Okay, I've never heard of it myself. And then unapata Kenyatta National Hospital inapata 70 million.
Again, we go back to where we started. The day the OCS begins to own a matatu, then you know there will be no order on the roads. The day the son of the president begins to own a matatu, you know there will be no order on the roads. When I, who is in control of SHA, owns a hospital, obviously it means that I'm using it to channel money to my hospital. But let us speak about ethics. How do you feel, you as an individual, waking up and knowing mimi nakula pesa ya watu ambao wanasafa? I mean, how do you live with yourself?
Utu.
How do you walk with yourself? How do you go and tell your children nimewanunulia viatu mpya na pesa ya mtu ambaye anaweka oxygen Kenyatta National Hospital? Because literally that's what's happening. Shame on every other person who feels comfortable knowing that ile pesa yeye anakula ni pesa ya mtu ambaye anaumia kwa hospitali somewhere. Someone has a cancer claim and this is what's happening. Saa zile mnakuja mnadanganywa because niliona utu bloggers tutam hapa wakituambia oh things are working. Shame on you bloggers. What's happening is mtu anakuja anaambua SHA italipa. Hospitali ndio inabakingi na hiyo machozi. Because the minute that patient leaves that hospital, the hospital goes to make a claim. Badala hiyo hospitali kama Rift Valley Provincial General Hospital, ama Kenyatta, ama Pumwani, ama hospitals, paka, by the way, have you seen what is happening in Bagathi? Our prisoners are suffering. From May, hawachukui prisoners because prison hailipi. Prison has come, they've brought these people who are prisoners, and they are, can you imagine being in a cell? Already conditions are bad.
Yeah.
Because we don't have beds there, I can imagine. And then that person is unwell and they come to a hospital and they are turned back. Na unarudi committee ama unarudi kwa cell mahali huko. And some of the people you see in police cells are actually innocent, awaiting their trial, ama wengine waliekelewa cases na wako huko. So you have a double tragedy. And guess what? Kuna mtu akona ka hospitali, it's a briefcase hospital, na kanalipwa na kanapewa all those monies. And then there is somebody in this country, and that's the biggest, weakest link we have, who has chosen. Sisi, some of us would have received money from Kenya Kwanza, tungekuwa tunaongea upuzi. But we have refused and we have said we are going to fight for Kenyans. And we are telling you, shame on you if you are there. You are singing tutam, you are blogging for, you know, instead of making SHA work, you just hire bloggers to say that SHA is working. And there's a blogger shamelessly receiving 500 shillings. Wewe na huo mtu mwenye ametengeneza fake hospital, you are the same people.
Hii SHA ikikuja, kwanza tulianza na 104 billion. Where it has never been explained what happened to that 104 billion. Because that 104 billion was supposed to come up with a system that is going to be tamper-proof, a system that is going to make sure that kama ni claim imemekiwa, you make sure that that claim is genuine before it
authentication was to happen.
Yes, they authenticate that claim such that waki Buhalalire health center make claim, then you know that system will have been able to tell us that this Buhalalire health center either exists or doesn't exist. And after that, then they verify that claim and before SHA pays. But the problem is that the people who are managing that system are there to also eat. Sasa wataeka hapo Buhalalire health center waseme ni is a level 4 hospital na kumbe ni ka dispensary, and so they start making those claims. Soon unasikia wamepata 104 million na instead of 8 million, and that's how people enrich themselves. And we don't have that humanity. Hatuna ile humanity. Mtu anaona as long as I'm making
money.
Yes, and the money they are making right now, they are going to use it in 2027.
Even the services that they are claiming for, si zenye zinakuwa rendered. Mtu anaenda kutolewa jino, wanasema alikuwa mjamzito, akapewa kitanda.
Na unajua anasema mtu mmoja anaenda through CS 3 times.
And then pay a different, same claim through different facilities.
Yes.
Like it's corruption at a level never experienced before.
You know, Kenya is the first nation in the world to spend 104 billion kuchange logo ya NHIF. Kuznika S wali change. Just to change a logo na ikaekwa kale kanyoka. Unajua vitu zote za medical zinakuanga na kanyoka. Yako kanyoka ndio kanatusumbua.
Kasaita.
You know, 104 billion for you to understand what 104 billion is, yenye walitumia on a software system that we cannot touch, the amount of money we spend on secondary school capitation in Kenya is 10 billion for all our 4 million children in high school. The amount of money we spend on capitation for primary schools is 17 billion. Kenya spends 27 billion for our children who are 14 million in schools. Hata ukiongeza ya free ya ile ya shule wanapeangwa chakula ya 3 billion. How I don't know 10 million people eating 3 billion and State House being allocated 12 billion, I've never understood. But 104 billion literally inaweza somesha watoto wote wa Kenya for 4 years consecutively. I want us to understand, we have 14 million children in school. Ile pesa walichukua kutengeneza hii rubbish inaitwa SHA, because it is now a scam, ni wizi. They spent our money to create a system that will help them steal from us. And that money would have educated every single child in this country for 4 years. Wewe kama mzazi sahi haungekuwa unalipa fees. Na kuna kamutu kanaingia hapa nika keyboard warrior. Tutam, tutarudisha hizi. You return this government to do what, surely? I mean, we have to get to a place where we become conscious people and start saying there comes a time when someone must make a decision that is good for this nation.
Now, Parents Association wanasema the government takes too long to release capitation funds, sometimes delaying until the end of the school term. It's a crisis created by the government itself.
Health is not working. You hear billions being lost, because by the way, Duale was saying that they have rejected the claims of 10 billion. Despite the much they have paid illegally, there's another 10 billion that has been claimed that bado hajalipa. Coming to education, second term, I don't think government ever received gave out capitation the whole of second term. I think it was once. Now we are in third term. Second term, students were forced to close schools early because there was no capitation. Kwa day schools, day schools, they don't pay school fees. They entirely depend on capitation. So if the government is not sending capitation, then watakula nini kwa hiyo shule?
Schools have resorted to things that people are not aware of. And one of the first thing is to look for the cheapest supplier of rice. The second one is to look for the cheapest supplier of maize. Do you remember a time when in a school children died of food poisoning? Very many, aflatoxin. Because you have to look for the cheapest supplier.
Alternatives.
As we speak right now, I sit in the board of a national school, so I'm speaking from experience. Say we've been served with demand letters. We've been served with demand letters from suppliers. The guy bringing you unga, the guy bringing you mchele, the guy bringing you beans. I have schools I know right now are about to be auctioned. The cases have gone through. Say the next thing unaweza nyemelea ni nini? School bus. So suppliers will start coming for school buses. And saa hizo suppliers are coming for school buses. Kuna Kenya Kwanza inazurura hii Kenya ikipeana mashini ya car wash. Hata hawakuulizi wewe ulisomea nini. Unakuja tu unadungwa kimashini kia car wash. Wakiona wasichana wanakuanga na saloon, unadungwa blow dry machine. Kumbe saa hizo uko na masters. Wakikuja wakiona kama ni msee wanasema hey huyu anakaa anaweza endesha pikipiki yako na nguvu atabeba watu, hawezi angusha watu, unadungwa kiboxa. Na hiyo kiboxa ni picha tu, alafu naambua na mdava dimenda kufanywa registration. That's why we are saying this nation needs leadership, and we are lacking leadership. And hii capitation ya mashule, let it not look like it's a favor. I have already told you, hii 104 billion waliiba juu wameiba kwa SHA, and it's now been proven wameiba, was enough to educate all our children for 4 years. Yani, this is the government that taxes the most, that borrows the most, delivers the least, pays the least of bills, and is expecting things to go on. Parents are taking back their children to school depressed. The standards by which we judge members of parliament have been very low. Ati mbunge ni yule anakuja anajenga darasa. And then I tell people, what use is it for me to come and build 10 classrooms? And then after I have built 10 classrooms, I go to parliament and pass a horrible university funding model that makes sure the children who go to these classrooms will never see university. I come and use CDF to build 5 classrooms, which definitely I'm enriching myself through the contractors. And then once I am done building these classrooms, I go and make sure that these schools are not getting capitation because they are not allocating these monies at Parliament. They are allocating money to State House, 12 billion. I don't know what is being eaten in State House, 12 billion per year. Lakini watoto wote Kenya wakule 3 billion. Tumbo zao za primary school. School feeding 3 billion. State House, 12 billion. So, when you look at that member of parliament na anakuja anaambia nichagueni tena nilijenga classroom na sisi wa Kenya we don't ask the hard questions, mnasema juu alijenga classroom, let us take him back to parliament. We must change the standards by which we judge who qualifies to be a good member of parliament.
And then speaking of parliamentarians, just the other day uliona venye walikuwa na back and forth na president wakisema mlungula rushwa inatembea sana kule bungeni. Wanakuwa bought off, wengine kwa macho, wengine kwa magari, kwa parking lots and stuff like that. Edwin, who make up a parliament for long?
Actually, I'm the incoming Secretary General of Kenya Parliamentary Journalists Association. Piga makofi bwana. Nitarunua
Boros to honge.
The truth is that corruption is a societal issue. And like I've said it here, we as Kenyans, we worship money. You would rather kill but upate hiyo 100,000
na liwalo lio.
Yani we have come to a point where money is everything, and because I'm a voter mwenye mimi pia niko huko chini, mtu akinipatia 2,000 that's like a god, so I will give him my vote because at least nimekula. And that's the biggest issue with the corruption in the country. Is corruption in parliament? Yes, we see it, we hear it. You know, corruption is ati unaonanga ati wanakuambia kuja uone ningeenda kupewa pesa. You just hear rumors, imetembea. But where does that money come from? Executive. It comes from the State House. The State House, when they want, there were stories when Rigathi Gachagua was being impeached, that some senators were getting as much as 7 million to impeach the governor, the deputy president then. MPs were getting as little as 200,000 to impeach the deputy president then. Those are allegations we hear. But you know, corruption, akunanga kitu ati akuna transactional ati kuna paper trail, mtu unaitwa kwa choo huko venye unasema unapewa yako unaenda kama umenyamaza.
Yeah.
You just see about it. Hey bwana, you know the excitement becomes too much because when you have money somehow wanasemanga pesa ipendi kelele, lakini hiyo pesa corruption it's very instant, so
very loud.
It's very loud.
Start by addressing the person of His Excellency the President William Samoei Ruto. Please, Mr. President, nataka uchukue Biblia, uchukue kiapo, useme I William Samoei Ruto na hapa ya kwamba I have never bribed one single parliamentarian, and if I ever have nikufe leo usiku. If he starts by making that oath, then we can say that parliament is not corrupt. And by the way, where was this said? During a PG. And guess what? After PG, what happens? Si kila mtu anananga akisaini akichukua bahasha yake ya kwenda. So you are talking...
No, actually that day they walked out. Hata wakula.
Yes.
The MPs walked out of the president.
You are talking of an end to corruption, and during that particular meeting, there is plans to facilitate people for having attended that meeting. So let us be genuine and let us be honest with one another. The only person who should speak about corruption in this country is a person who can pick up a Bible and wish upon themselves death if they are found to have either bribed or received a bribe. That's the only person who should be speaking about corruption in this country. Mm-hmm. Anybody else, shut up. And if you can't, then arrest those people who are corrupt. Right now, he was talking of MPs being bribed. Why don't we start now by first arresting those people who directed money to these hospitals that are fraudulent? Sayat, let me tell you, ingekuwa ni kijana saya amechukua kamawe amegonga hospitali na hako kamawe, angekuwa ameandikiwa terrorism charges, angekuwa ameandikiwa wewe you are destroying the country. But the person who steals the money for the whole hospital is not a terrorist. So the standards are not equal for everybody. I come from a constituency where my member of parliament was sent to parliament by us. The first time alipitisha finance bill, because remember there was Tuesday and then there was Thursday.
Yeah.
Akaenda matanga, mazishi on Wednesday. Apo Langata, there was a burial for somebody from our constituency. And people jeered at him and told him, iyo kitu usirudie. which was the following day. He went to parliament. When his term came, he said, yes! He shouted like a baby. And then he came and told us that ni Photoshop, hakuna maandamano. Yani ile kitu yote ilihappen Kenya ni Photoshop. He came and told Kenyans during abductions, watu wamejificha kwa girlfriends zao. Hakuna abductions. People are not, they are self-abducting, they are hiding in their girlfriends' houses. He was here at Royal Media. Now, those are the kind of members of parliament who still have the audacity. And I'm just giving you one example of my constituency. Imagine they are saying they are offering themselves for office again in 2027. Mtu ana aibu ati atakuja na ataeka posters in the very same constituency na aombe watu kura. Wananchi, shame on you if some of you will just queue because mumepewa pesa to vote for some of those insensitive leaders. When someone is receiving 200,000 to go and sell your children out, sai nyinyi wote mmejaza watu kwa WhatsApp groups. By the way, za university vitu zilikuwa zimeisha.
Yeah.
If someone is passing a horrible university funding model, that's a person who hates you as a voter. Huyo ni mtu anakuchukia na roho yake yote. And you move and you vote for such a person. It's a despicable place to be.
Let's go back to some time last week. Did you go to receive your party leader at the airport?
Yes, tulienda airport.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, actually at the gate, no public service vehicle was allowed to go past the gate. So very many people were left outside the gate, and that's where they were waiting for us. For us who were lucky, we drove in. We received Rigiji and brought him back into the country. And why? I've always said, when you go to war, you use the strongest weapon available. We are at a war against this administration because it has shown us that it doesn't care about us. It's killing our children.
And your greatest artillery.
And the biggest weapon right now we have in this country against this administration is Rigiji. So people keep asking me, so why Rigiji? I tell them, show me a guy who is fighting Ruto better than Rigiji, and I will work with them.
Yeah.
And so far I'm yet to find one. So we have to work with Rigiji for now because he's the strongest artillery we have against this bad administration. But shock on us. Tunafika tu hapa Cabanas. And goons are sent on motorbikes and they were alighting. And by the way, the MPs who sent these goons, we know you by name, we know where they came from.
Yeah.
We are just putting you on notice and telling you that nobody in this country has a monopoly of goons. Actually, very many people spoke to Rigiji and they were telling him, Rigiji, si hata wewe umobilize vijana tupigane na hawa.
Is that the route
and
we want to take?
That's not how we are wired. Our fight is not against the young people of this country because a lot of blood will be shed. Sasa nataka kuambia hawa ma MP walitutumia hawa watu hivi. News for you is, out of the people you sent, 3 young people were beaten really badly. Really badly. I feel sad for them.
And our colleagues were hurt.
Sasa wewe kama MP, are you happy that you sent a young person to their deathbed? Some of them I don't think will ever even walk. And then the people in the media were hurt. Blood was shed. So you end up kunywe hiyo damu. I have always told these people who send goons, why do you have such a high appetite for blood? Do you drink blood? Are you a Dracula? What do you want with human blood? Because every time something happens in this country, blood has to be shed.
Yeah.
One time Raila Amolo Odinga left abroad and came back to Kenya. What did Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta do for him? They provided so many policemen. There was police protection. There were no goons ever sent to go and beat people who are coming back into this country. So to those MPs who did that, we are telling you this without fear, that we want to have a candid conversation with you. We know you, we know where you are. Na sisi hatutawatumia goons. We will come to you leader to leader. We'll sit you down and tell you are out of order. And we will tell you, if we wanted, I mean, you have a problem with Fanyamambo and you're a sitting member of parliament. So you kuja unichape mimi, mundu kumundu, remove young people, let's have a conversation with you. Tuchapane mimi na wewe tumaliziane hapo tuache. Because now those young people who were hurt, by the way, nobody cared to take them to hospital. Waliachwa hapo kwa barabara. Polisi ndio waliobeba kwa Land Rover na walibebwa kama mizigo. Is this the direction we want to go as a country? So, and I'm happy Rigiji told those members of parliament within our ranks who are telling him we have to reiterate. He told them, no, we are not wired like them. And we are not going to use young people to settle scores. Let them continue doing this to us. And Kenyans are watching and Kenyans can see. But we are not going to get to a situation where we also look for young people, because Kenya will become a bloodbath. And who is interested in blood? Those people. Where they take human blood, I don't know. but they are happy every time that young blood is being shed. And we are telling them, shame on you. Shame on you. And some of them, by the way, as I finish, have experienced the impact of having their own children suffer or die because of the things they are doing to other people's children. Hawaski.
I'm afraid, Igunza. I'm afraid of the direction the country is taking when they want to deal with their political opponents. You know, I think there are some politicians who tried and tested this method of hiring goons during the demos, the Sabasaba demos, and I think they realized, kumbe, it works. This is not on the politician. This should be on the police officers and the police department, because, you know, they shouldn't be allowing goons on the streets. They should take action and make sure that those goons then are arrested, because nimekuambia Igunza, the problem we have as a society is that we worship money. And so if a youth mwenye hana kazi, mwenye amesoma vizuri, hana job, sasa anaenda kupewa 1,000 hiyo siku, you think you'll refuse? You won't refuse. Hata utaambiwa it is nothing serious, wewe kuja tu bebe rungu, you just kutishia tu watu, and you come and tishia watu, but because of the mob psychology and mob mentality, unaanza kupiga watu, people that you didn't intend to beat. So the police then must act. The police must not, you know, when you see those goons harassing people, beating journalists, doing all those things, and the police are just watching, you wonder what is happening. Yeah. And the police will tell you that there's no department kwa police ambayo inaitwa goons, or they are all uniformed, but you see those goons beating people and the police are watching. Kama ingekuwa ni warigiji, magoons ni warigiji or opposition, they will have been beaten. Wangekuwa wamepigwa wakatolewa.
We have never seen a two-term meeting where young people have been sent to go and cause havoc. We have never seen young people sent where Kindiki and Ishungwa and the others have gone to a church service like it happened to us in Kayole to beat up people within a church compound. We have never seen goons sent to go and beat up people. Unajua ile matanga ya Limuru, a burial, ati karibu waangushe coffin. Can you imagine what would have happened kama wangeangusha coffin?
Yeah.
So we have never, and as much as they want to say that we who are one-term people, protagonists, are bad people, we have never heard that the people have sent goons to a two-term meeting wakamwaga hiyo maharagwe yao, ama wakaiba hizo car wash machines zao. So let us be fair. Let us allow ourselves to be civil as a nation. Tungekuwa sisi ni watu wabaya, tungekuwa tumetafuta goons tutume mkutano ya Kimani Ichung'wah aende akaharibu mazishi. Because they do. Can you imagine getting to a level where unaenda kuharibu mazishi? These are terrible human beings.